I mean, we saw how good the Chiefs looked this last week. Imagine OBJ there. So I'm just saying to make it look even crazier. But regardless of what it is,
I just wonder how long it would have taken. That's all. That was my only question about it, was how long it would have taken for him
he
to.
would have been ready by the playoffs, I feel like, for sure.
Oh,
By
yeah,
probably
by the
week
playoffs.
13.
I
Week
imagine
13,
so.
probably. Week 13,
Yeah.
14.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's he wanted to go there. When he found out that team was interested,
I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either. Who wouldn't want to go to a nice sunny place that has a great football team that didn't look like they were on the outs at the time and have a chance at a Super Bowl? And that's what he's seen. Okay. There was opportunity there for him. Okay. Plus, he got a pretty decent incentive to go. Is he going to reach all three of them?
Money offered out of everyone.
Well, with incentives, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The incentives are a lot of his money. I mean, the incentives are a huge. It's all bonus money for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
But in the same aspect, so what? I mean, can you reach all of those incentives? Who knows? If they don't, if the team doesn't get to a certain point, probably not. He has to reach all three to get that entire amount. And if not, he goes back to whatever his base was. Mm-hmm. So it really depends on how they end up. He saw an opportunity to win a Super Bowl with a team that was gelling and doing well. And he also saw the fact that he can contribute to a team that can win a ring. Mm-hmm. So he did what he did. It is what it is.
Yeah. And they even said that the Rams offered, or in whatever it was report, they were one of the only teams that want to lock him up long term. He's like, okay, cool.
Yeah. So I mean and that's another thing, I mean, everybody was, and it's funny, like we had said last week, it was, all the guys that said, oh no, he's a cancer. And then those same exact guys were complaining 5 seconds later when we didn't sign him. God, Veach sucks. Mm-hmm. But those are the same guys that didn't want him. So it's, it doesn't matter. But the whole thing is, I think we're going to see Gordon more now because he's right there. Hey, by the way, I watched the presser this morning.
Okay. What did you see in it?
Well, something I actually thought I would see because of NFL obligations and contractual obligations, but it was flip-flopped. Normally you see Spags for about 2 minutes on average. When it's the OCs, Thursdays are OC pressers, it's offense, defense coordinators pressers. What we talked about last week on the show is exactly what I thought I actually kind of wondered if he'd even show up, but he did because of contractual obligations, but it was a very flip-flopped presser. Spags talked, he came out first. He was the first one out, which is not normal. He's usually second. And he talked for about 7 minutes, maybe a little longer. And then Bieniemy came out. Very short answers. Didn't have a whole lot to answer to because he didn't.
He normally talks a long time because he normally talks a good amount.
Yes, and has a lot to say. And there was a lot of ad lib and a lot of there's a certain word for it. I just can't think of it right now. But real short, quick answers, lasted about 2 minutes and 8 seconds. And he was off, which I expected after, thinking about it. I thought, okay, yeah, he has to come out because of that reason. But again, we talked about this on the show prior, and there's a reason behind that. And we don't have to get into the reasons why, but we've already done that. But, and it actually came out on ESPN after we talked about it, which irritates me. But anyway, it was different. It was nice to see Spags happy. He was very, very proud of the defensive play. In fact, they stepped it up. And guess what? One of the questions, I loved it. One of the questions was, what do you think of Sorensen's interception? And did he redeem himself? And he goes, I don't know. Did he? And he laughed. And he said, Sorensen is a great guy. He said, has he struggled? Yes, he has. But I look at everything he has done for this team in the past, And I know he's going through some hard times, but I know what he can do. So that's why I give him the opportunities I give him. It's not because of
Yeah, third
anything
down
else.
opportunities. Yeah.
So he's earned the opportunities, basically, is how he's wording it. Now, does everybody have to agree with that? No, they do not. Do I think Sorensen's a horrible player? No, I do not. Do I think he's put in horrible positions sometimes? Hell yes. He is definitely put in horrible positions at times.
Mm-hmm.
He is not great, in man coverage in the red zone. He's been burnt numerous times in that position. He's cost us touchdowns. It just is what it is. He whiffed a lot of tackles, and it just happens. But you get him out in the middle, and especially in a situation. Now, in my opinion, he kind of took that ball away from Thornhill. I mean, that was really Thornhill's interception, but
I mean, yeah,
he got
they
it though.
got
It doesn't matter. He got it. So, he needed it. In my opinion, he needed that because he has been hammered for 6 straight weeks, not just by the fans, but by the media as well.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's something that will help him boost his motivation and boost him up to a level that he should be playing at.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that he's going to be out there in that same position that he was having problems in? No, it does not.
He's a guy that you need there on the third downs.
Correct.
I feel like
third down
downs.
In the middle, you don't need him on the right hash mark. You don't need him in the red zone on man. You need him in the middle as a spy, rover, blitz, type situation. Third down, yeah, it'd be great if this, somebody's throwing a Hail Mary and he's out there next to Sorensen, next to Thornhill. And yeah, maybe if you can snag one, great. If you got all 3 of them out there, a 3 safety set, and you got all 3 of those guys out there, fantastic.
Yeah.
You got him out there. But it's when he's by himself in no man's land, it's just not conducive to him playing well. No, and they've realized that. It is what it is.
I just feel like that should have been figured out 4 games into the season instead of 6.
You're right. It should have.
But it is what it is, I guess, at this point.
Yeah, it is. But you know what? We're in a position now that I think the team has just figured out what they need to do. Andy's figured it out, 100% figured it out. He looks so much better. He's physically, you can see he's doing better. I've heard that he's doing better. He's feeling better. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing from every standpoint that for himself personally. And I'm not going to go into that either, but that's his business if he wants to bring that up. But I kind of didn't. The 2 shows ago, I got pissed off and I may have overstepped my bounds a little bit, but I asked if I could because I got freaking so tired of everybody slamming him the way they were. And now they know, in fact, it was actually weirdly enough, not one person anywhere has ever brought up anything about that until we said something. And then it came out on ESPN a day later. So, and I do know where that came from, by the way, just so you know, I found that out today,
okay.
How they found out. And for you guys that want to know, I have a relative that is a ESPN affiliate in Cleveland, and he listens to our show. So, he's got a mouth. Thanks, cuz. Anyway, and I told him I was going to say that on the show, by the way, when I talked to him today. So anyway, regardless, we're doing great. I think the team's just going to keep climbing. I do see a win this week. I don't know. What do you think, man?
I think when it comes down to, I think this is going to be the game of the week.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it is the game of the week. This is going to be the game of the year. You have 2 preliminary quarterbacks, Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes, 2 terrific offenses, 2 great defenses that are kind of coming to their own. I think this is going to be a great game. I think it's going to be interesting to see who can overtake who. I feel like our defense has the edge. I feel like our offensive line with Creed Humphreys, who should be the rookie of the year, is going to be able to protect Patrick Mahomes, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I think so too. Our offensive line has just come into its own, and the fact that, Patrick is able to do what he wants to do on that field and call the plays when he needs to call them. Andy's calling the plays. Things are going progressively better Um, the defense is finally able to cover their own guys, stay within their realm, do what they need to do. And, we talked about this before, but the one thing that I didn't ever bring up is that when you're playing corner, safety, linebacker, you're you're multitasking in a way anyway, but you really have to concentrate on, especially a safety and a corner, you really have to concentrate on your assignment. And when you have to break off of that assignment, you're really multitasking. So you're looking at a multitude of different things. And it's very difficult at that speed to be able to do that. And with our defensive line breaking down the way it was, everybody was breaking off their assignments. So then their mindset was all over the place.
Yeah.
Now, looking at that Raiders game, and regardless of the problems that the Raiders were having, whether it be internally or not, which they are having internal issues as well, but it didn't affect the defensive players as a whole. They still know how to play the game. Defensive coordinator still knows how to call plays. He still knows how to put packages together. We just downright beat them.
Yeah, I think honestly, the Raiders are a good team, but I think the Chiefs the Chiefs are a good team, but they just Andy Reid just dissect them. Spags knew what to do. I knew the game was over when Derek Carr started throwing punts on third down, but trying to please God, let this go in. That's kind of what I was noticing. And I was like, oh, we got this in the bag now as long as we don't mess up. Because the defense got to them and was able to make them break. Now, granted, it's hard to get through the Raiders' offensive line. They are really good. Now, are they holding sometimes? I believe so personally. Other people would beg to differ. But what I've seen is that they are able to, our defensive line was really what helped us.
Well,
I
huge.
think adding that pressure, whenever we were wearing them down, was very significant.
Well, it was. And then, if you noticed, our secondary wasn't nearly as tired. They weren't scattered all over the place. They weren't running around like they're, chickens with their heads cut off. They were staying in their lane, knew exactly where they were supposed to be. And they played the game the right way.
Yeah.
And that's all you can ask for. We've got premier players out on the field, with the exception of a couple players that are just a little sketchy here and there. We've got premier players out on the field. And if you can't, nobody's ever going to be perfect. So if anybody out there expects them to be perfect on every play, you guys might just find another sport, find something else to watch, go be perfect in your house. I mean, go find something you're perfect at. I don't know what else to tell you, because if you're perfect at everything you do, then honestly, you should be a billionaire somewhere living on a yacht, and there should be a halo over your head, because there's not one person in this world that's perfect. No one can expect perfection every single play of every game. It's not ever going to happen. But when you're as close to perfection as you can get, and win the way we did, I wouldn't complain.
And
I've seen people complaining about the extra touchdown that the Raiders got.
They didn't get one. We stopped. Actually, they called I'm
talking about this. We had them at the 7, and they complained about the second touchdown they got. Well, they shouldn't have got that.
Should Hitchens have been in that spot? No. But did the offense respond? Did the defense step up? Yes. So I'm not mad.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that's just going to happen.
Yeah.
There's everything in the world, and sometimes they're just going to get you. As annoying as a Derek Carr is, and the Raiders, as much as we don't like them, they're going to get some plays, and they've always gotten them. That's just how it's going to be.
But let me ask you something, dude. How many, seriously, as bad as the Raiders have been prior to this year, how many games have we beaten them by basically 30 points?
Well, I know we beat them 40-9 that year we won the Super Bowl, and we beat them 41-14. So I think an annual beating on the Raiders like that means good things, because if we can do that to them, that means our team's in a good position, because we're blowing out a team we should be blowing out.
Exactly. But here's the thing.
Last year, though, we lost to them the first game. The second game, we only won by 7.